Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about how to use a bus in Pro Tools. A bus in Pro Tools allows you to send audio from one track to another. It is a virtual pathway. You can think of a bus similarly to a school bus that picks up multiple kids, which would be tracks, and it delivers them to the same place, which would be an aux track. You might want to send all of your drum tracks to a drum bus so that you can control them all together with one fader. Buses can be used during the recording and in the mixing and mastering stages. This diagram right here helps you visualize a bus. You can send multiple audio tracks or even MIDI tracks to the same bus, and from there you can control them all together, and then you can send it out to wherever it needs to go. And I want to hop over here to this session I have pulled up. This is an old session from last semester that I worked on for one of my studio projects. On this screen right here you can see that I am using two different kinds of buses. I am using a drum bus for all of my drum tracks. You can see under each drum track, which I have color-coded in blue. For the output, you can see that it all says drums. That is my drum bus. And over here for my vocal tracks that are all labeled in pink, you can see that my output is set to my Vox bus. In order to create a bus, there's two different ways you can do it. You can simply click on the output, go over to bus. Say I wanted to use the stereo bus 1 and 2. I could click on that, and then I could double click and hit rename and then name that whatever I would want. Say that none of my drum tracks had the output set to the drum bus yet, and I wanted to make all of them set to the drum bus. I'll click on the name of it right here, kick. We'll hit down shift and go all the way to overhead right. That is all of my drum tracks. If I was creating my drum bus, then this drum aux track wouldn't be here, so we'll just ignore that. We'll hit option shift and hold it down. I'm gonna click the output. We're going to go down to bus. Say I wanted to use bus 1, 2. We'll hit that. And now all of my drum tracks output are set to the same bus. And from there I could go ahead and rename it. I'll just double click, hit rename. I would name it drums, but since I already have my bus set to drums, I'll name it drums bus. And now it's all set to drums bus. Very easy. Using a bus allows for easier volume control, group processing, and automation. In this session, I used my drum bus to send all of my drum tracks to my drum aux track, which is right here. I'll always have my drum aux track set in a different shade of blue than what my drum tracks are, just so I can distinguish it from the other ones. And on my drum aux track, I used a send. In any session I've ever worked on, I've always used a bus. It just makes everything more organized. I'm able to send all my drum tracks or all my vocal tracks or all my guitar tracks to a certain place. It makes my workflow much more efficient, and I'm just able to control everything much easier. Using a bus works alongside an aux track, which is what I have right here, and I'll go into that in the next video. But it's really important to understand what a bus does when you're talking about what an aux track does as well, because they work hand in hand with each other. In this session, I set all of my vocal tracks to my vocal aux track right here, and I was able to put a de-esser and a limiter on my Vox aux track, and I was able to apply to all of my vocal tracks. Thank you for watching this video. This was how to use a bus in Pro Tools. We covered how to create one, how it's used, and how you would apply it. And in the next video, we'll talk about how to use an aux track.